Good evening, all you Minties, and welcome back to another episode of Reelz Talks with your host, the amazing Amanda, and my lovely co-host, the Uncanny Omar.
What's up, everybody?
Yes, who's here in person today.
I am. I'm a real person.
We never doubted that.
Thank you. Thank you all for joining us for this first part or first segment of hopefully many to come about was it better than the comic book?
Yes.
So we decided to start doing this and then try to do it a weekly thing, but we'll see. Because there are some comics that I like to read, but they take a little bit more time, such as the case of Road to Perdition.
Yes, I would. Yeah, we have a whole list, and it's not just superheroes comics that we're looking at. There are a ton of comics out there that have been made into movies. Like he said, Road to Perdition's one of them. We might even get to see Men in Black if it's up to me.
If it's up to Amanda, yeah.
So we're definitely gonna have a lot of options here, and so if we have to read a book that takes a little bit longer, then we'll probably interslice a which one was better for was it really that bad, just depending on the decision that week on what we're going to read.
That our budget skyrocketed this month, man. So we got
to see the full extent of my room that I'm in most of the time, which I just redecorated to ignore my thing on the wall. I haven't gotten that.
See, nobody was going to point that out until.
But I'm the one. So yes, but I've been making this more of a professional office space since I also work from home here. So
yeah, there's a lot of
plan.
Yeah, I was about to comment on your plan. It looks really pretty over there.
Thank you.
So yeah, there's a lot of comic books
that
inspired movies are based on, or TV shows, because we thought about maybe doing like Jupiter's Legacy next week, since we just wrapped that up, to see which one we enjoyed better. But
cool
it looks like in the chat there's already some discussion about which one is better, which is pretty interesting.
Yeah.
So again, we like to remind everybody that this is just our opinion, and of course, please feel free to write down your opinion and what you think about either the movie or the book, which one is better. This isn't Omar's basement. I'm coming in late, and so I know it's not my basement.
No, this is This is amazing. Amanda's actual room that she's.
This is her she cave.
This is my she cave.
Is that what it's called?
I guess.
I don't think it's.
No, it's a she shed, which I would love a she shed, but. That would require me buying a shed, but a room is what I get.
Spidey in the back, yeah.
Yes,
that's her costume that she wears. Oh.
No, it's a blanket. Thank you very much.
Movie was whack.
Whoa.
Wiggity whack.
Right off the bat, coming in swinging.
What's up, Gabrielle? Fences. This is Lady Palace.
Lady Palace.
But
also, yes.
With that big ass dent back there is a Lady Palace. The comic book is better. I love it. You guys are already debating. This is fun. It's gonna be fun. Why are you guys going to rip about one of my favorite comics?
You don't know, Joe. You don't know what our opinions are about this.
Joe knows.
Joe knows.
Joe knows me. He knows.
He knows you.
But you know what? I'm loving that you love both of those. That's awesome, buddy. That's all that matters.
Yes. Craig Garley, you bring up a good point. She sheds could get struck by lightning, so it's probably good I'm not in one.
True.
Leo said he's only watched the movie. Well, Leo, then you'll get a little bit of a glimpse tonight into what the comic book was all about.
Yeah, just a little bit of a glimpse. Omar, did you see the breaking news today? James, why are you killing me? ABC has officially announced the Wonder Years reboot will premiere this fall. Why are we rebooting the Wonder Years?
I can't believe it. I didn't really think it was in production this whole time. I thought it was just starting production, but I guess they can.
How did that start? I was making a joke about it being progressive, like how they're going to recast.
And I said, "Well, no, they're actually." And then someone was like, "No, they actually are." And I was like, "Yeah, I think they are." We looked it up, and then it actually was happening, and your worst nightmares came true.
My worst nightmares. Okay, first of all, that's not my worst nightmares. All right, don't get me canceled. Is this Civil War between two Civil Wars?
It is, in fact.
I love the way
within Marvel, we have the two Civil War, the two Civil Wars going on.
Look at Arya quoting Guns N' Roses to quote the wise man Axl Rose. What's so civil about war, anyways? Great song.
Nothing.
What's up, Hayden? How you doing, buddy? Same. Nice setup. Happy Friday. And what's his name? Oh, me.
Mm-hmm.
Will you be taking a
Spidey in the back?
Will you be taking a debate stance on these? I'm interested in the format of the show. I'm interested in the format of the show too.
Yeah, so what we're going to be doing is we're going to be what we'll do to start off is give you a brief synopsis of first the comic, and then talk about a brief synopsis of the movie, And then we'll kind of go into what the similarities are between the two, what the differences are. And then we're going to finally dive into me and Omar's different opinions. So depending on the fact, we might agree sometimes, we might disagree. It just happens.
We don't agree a lot though.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Because I have a hard time it's such a hard thing for me to try to take a different stance on, than what I would have on.
You know what would be really fun though? Is if we didn't have a choice.
And we had to play devil's advocate.
And we let our subscribers or our viewers choose whose side is on whose.
We might try that.
Maybe not for this segment since we're starting it, but I think that would be really fun because I like debating and so do you. And we both
can throw it up on YouTube right after we announce it on YouTube. This is what we're going to do. Which side should they be on? Who should be on what side?
Yeah.
Because
kind of like that.
We all know from the history of our shows, Omar's clearly a comics guy. I'm clearly a movie gal. So.
But it'd be funny if
I had
to put you in the comic.
Not to say yes, but not to say that I wouldn't enjoy a comic over a movie because I'm one of those people who always thinks the book is better, unless it's Lord of the Rings. I do love those movies.
Movies are awesome.
but
they did Tom Bombadil dirty, but we didn't need him in the end.
There's so many book adaptations that I have just cringed at that have been made in TV shows and movies. So I am definitely sometimes a purist when it comes to whatever the original art form is. So yeah, it would be interesting to do that.
Gabriel, they're part of my basement downstairs. So we do have your magnets. Thank you so much. That was really sweet of you to send that to us. Civil War between followers, watchers, subscribers. I'm sure that I love the heated debate between all of these two because it happens and you can't help it because you're so passionate about something. And we've seen it happen on our show before.
Oh yeah,
where one of us is so heated about something. How could you not like the Dark Phoenix saga? What is wrong with you?
Yes. Clearly, it's why he's already drinking tonight.
I'm ready, baby. I'm ready.
Yes. So let's go ahead and start talking about the first piece we're going to talk about, which is the comic book.
Oh, see, that's rough. Tebon.
Yes.
Amanda, what's better, Outsiders the movie or the book? See, I like the book.
And I've never
seen the cast of the Outsiders movie was solid.
I've never seen the movie or read the book, so that would be a great one for me to do, just so I could actually. Oh wait, but that's a book, not a comic. But
that book's got 2 pictures.
Is that too late? That's a lot of books. Is it the front cover and the back cover?
I think so. I think that's what it is.
Yes. So let's start talking about the comic. So the comic.
2006
to 7.
6 to 7 had a couple of delays.
Yes, it did because of the penciler had some issues, right? Getting stuff
Steve
out.
McNiven.
Yeah,
he's a wonderful penciler.
Yes.
So you have Mark Miller right off of his stint on Ultimates, and
this is Joe Quesada's Marvel era, right? When he was trying to change up stuff.
Yeah, but Joe Quesada's been around since the Marvel Knights, and then he got to be editor-in-chief. So the summer crossovers was a big thing in the 80s and 90s, and then they kind of stopped. And then they brought back something called House of M, and it was an event that kind of kickstarted the events again. So Civil War was the next big event. And by event, I mean, here you have a storyline that just goes through all the different stories and comics. Like you have Wolverine, Spider-Man in their own comic books have a little Civil War logo to let you know that, hey, this is part of the Civil War story.
Yes.
So Mark Miller came in and wrote it. 7 issues? 7 issues,
yep.
Yeah. And Steve McNiven's wonderful artwork.
Yes.
Dexter Vines, I think, did the inks. But
so, yeah.
Let's talk about Civil War, the comic book. Because I'm pretty sure most people are gonna wonder, do you need to read anything before Civil War?
Yeah.
No.
I never read anything before it, and I had no trouble following it. I mean, if you have some fairly limited Marvel comic knowledge, I think you can get off the bat, who different characters are. Some characters necessarily, like their backstories, aren't really important for this particular storyline. I think the idea of the whole storyline, what's important is understanding there are 2 sides and what this Superhuman Registration Act is all about. So basically that's the premise of this 7-issue comic series or comic crossover event where the New Warriors, young group of superheroes, with like the likes of Namorita, I think is one of them in it, and Speedball, and they're being, go ahead. Oh boy.
No, because let me tell you something. Let me tell you something right now. As a New Warriors fan, those opening pages pissed me off so bad.
So as someone who's never read New Warriors, definitely didn't make me want to read a New Warriors comic.
Well, because these are not my New Warriors. Hashtag not my New Warriors. Because
but...
this is the Zeb Wells New Warriors when they were doing the reality TV / superheroes New Warriors, which was ridiculous, but whatever.
Yeah.
So anyway, go ahead.
No, you're
fine.
To
chime in and say that.
Yeah. So basically, they're being followed. They have, I guess, their own reality TV show being followed by a film crew, and they are about to invade on a house of several supervillains, and who are caught unawares, basically. And as they do so, they ensue in a fight, which ends up in pretty much a catastrophe where one of the supervillains, I can't remember his name off the top of my head.
Nitro.
He's
the guy that gave Captain Marvel cancer, and Captain Marvel, the original, died.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, from fighting Nitro. That's how he died.
Wow. Well, then, so he creates an explosion or causes an explosion, and they're in a suburban area. And of course, where the blast is, not only does it kill several members of New Warriors, but it also kills well over 600 people and a lot of school children, because an elementary school is right nearby. You never touch the school.
Don't. I'm talking to Joe. He's already starting with me.
He's already
starting with me, Joe.
So of course, the aftermath ignites a whole fury. Public opinion has turned against the superheroes. Of course, for the X-Men, this is nothing new. They're still being followed by Sentinels.
Well, the X-Men are like, well,
it still shocks me that anyone would even suggest that they would join the Superhuman Registration Act, considering they have the Mutant Registration Act. It still shocks me.
That was in the 80s. They forgot about that.
Yes. Well, they still have Sentinels following them all around. So you still have that issue, but public opinion has turned. You have people like the likes of Johnny Storm being attacked by citizens while he's at a nightclub and ending up in the hospital, which how he couldn't have gotten away from that is beyond me.
That's one of the worst parts of this stupid comic book is my boy Johnny Storm getting knocked out by
Omar's
a beer bottle.
Of this comic, and we haven't even got to that part of the
I love the artwork. Anyway, go ahead.
What's
up, Hugo?
So basically, you have the U.S. government. So unlike the movie, which we'll talk about in a minute, is just the U.S. government who wants to pass the Superhuman Registration Act to kind of basically make superheroes legit, make them part of S.H.I.E.L.D., essentially, right?
Yeah, to make sure that they are being
held accountable.
Especially
the young ones, weeding out the ones that are too risky and this, that, and the other.
No, Darren, go ahead.
And of course, we get Tony Stark on board. How do we get Tony Stark on board? He's at the funeral for several of the elementary school children who were murdered. And one of the mothers comes up and spits on him and basically, accuses him of being reckless because he's the one who gives the Avengers all of their tools and their money, even though he's like with the New Warriors. But it doesn't matter. They're all one and the same at this point to an ordinary U.S. citizen. So Tony decides, maybe this is a good idea. Maybe we need the Superhuman Registration Act. And so he's the face of this act and getting it passed. Meanwhile, Steve Rogers, he's clearly on the other side of this, right?
Yeah, he's like, no, we're not going to do that. And it's amazing how fast this gets pushed, too.
Oh, yeah. It's
like the real world works like that here in America. Can we?
They passed this act faster than our real Congress could pass anything. So I'm very impressed with it. And even in 2006, 2007, I don't think our real Congress would have passed it that quickly.
It's comic book.
And immediately when Cap is pretty much face to face with Maria Hill at S.H.I.E.L.D. or with S.H.I.E.L.D., basically saying, I don't agree with this, I'm not going to go along with it. He's immediately attacked by their, I guess, Cape Killer crew, their S.H.I.E.L.D. Cape Killers. And so now Steve is essentially a fugitive.
Not gonna lie, that scene was badass.
It was badass.
When he jumps out of the helicarrier, jumps onto a plane. I can't remember what he told the guy on the plane.
There's definitely some great fight scenes in
I like that. That was nice. That was a nice, still has respect for the soldiers. Yes. That was cool. But he knows this is wrong. Meanwhile, Tony's like, now we gotta do it, man. We gotta
do it. And even Mr. Fantastic is on board with it. So you have you end up getting two factions that kind of are divided. You have a number of folks on Captain America's side, obviously like Falcon, Daredevil. I'm trying to think some other ones. Eventually the Punisher, Luke Cage. And those.
Well, Daredevil was a little weird because it didn't feel like Daredevil, but I can't remember if that was supposed to be Bullseye Daredevil or if it was just Mark Miller Daredevil.
Well, no, because wasn't Bullseye part of the Thunderbolts? He was in one of the pictures, wasn't he?
Eventually, yes. That's part of Norman Osborn's Thunderbolts.
No, I mean, but when they brought them back to help clean up, find the fugitive
Maybe he was.
I
Yeah,
thought
yeah,
there's
he
a
was.
picture of him
He
in
was.
it, so maybe it's because he did throw like someone in earlier in the comics.
Danny. Thank you so much. I knew it was somebody else. Danny Ramos, because this was during that run of Daredevil.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, you know, a lot of your street level, you know, superheroes are squarely in Steve's corner because they don't want the government dictating, you know, their decisions. And
emphasis on dictating.
Yes, of course. So, meanwhile, Tony has his own. He has Mr. Fantastic. Of course, this time Ant-Man is Hank Pym in the comics, not Scott Lang.
Yeah, Scott was dead during this time.
Yeah. So you have Hank Pym. You also have Spider-Man. So Spider-Man is one of the first ones. And of course, because he's probably one of the most famous, he ends up also unmasking himself live on television as a way.
Huge deal.
Huge risk. Yeah. Because at this time, this is when Spider-Man's married. This is before One More Day. So this is, he knows his, like Aunt May and Mary Jane are living at Avengers Towers at the time.
Yes.
So he feels like they're safe enough that he can reveal his identity to show good faith to, you know, the citizens of the United States that the superhumans are here for good. We're going to be the good guys. We're going to do this Registration Act. We're going to reveal our identities. We're going to do the whole kit and caboodle. So, of course, this makes Jonah Jameson nearly like fall out of his chair.
He has a heart attack.
Yeah,
he has a heart attack in
the
comic book, in the Spider-Man comic.
Yes, because he's
not in Civil War. Yeah.
Yes, because he's suing him. Yes, but of course, later on, we don't know this in the Civil War 7 issues, but that does go on to backfire for Peter because Kingpin does send an assassin that.
Yeah, it's the Back in Black storyline.
Yes, that ends up killing Aunt May. But
what? Hospitalizing
Aunt May.
And then we have Mephisto. But anyway, that's a whole different thing.
Not but the Mephisto from Scarlet Witch.
Not Ralph Boner, but the real Mephisto. So it's a lot of fighting between superheroes.
You get a couple. You get your first couple of fight scenes. The first battle they have, where Tony basically tries to lure Cap's superheroes out. We actually are introduced to Thor, but not the Thor we think, because our Thor is dead right now in the comics, but a cyborg.
We
Thor.
call him Clore.
Clone Thor.
Yep, and then he joined the Avengers Initiative, and that was Ragnarok, is what they. But
this is after they had helped. They reprogrammed a little bit better because initially, when Mr. Fantastic programmed him, let's just say things don't go very well, and he ends up killing Goliath. So this, of course,
Black Goliath.
Yes. So this. I didn't know we had to.
That was his name, though.
Oh, that was his name. Okay.
His name is Black Goliath, just like it's Black Panther.
They just call him Goliath. Okay. Which Black Panther, of course, saying, "I'm not getting involved. This is not Wakanda's issue." Because let's face it, at this time, this is just a U.S. issue, right? They haven't.
Everybody else is like, let him fight.
Like, no, I'm not. Let you guys do your own thing. The X-Men take a neutral stance. They are like, we're going to sit here happily and we're not going to be part of either side. So, of course, Goliath's death takes a toll on a lot of people, including Spider-Man, who then wants to figure out, when you're capturing all these superheroes that are, not going along with this, where are you taking them? So eventually they do take them to this prison. It's Prison 42 that houses the negative zone.
Sarah, I swear, exactly, right? Like that would have been impactful if he didn't just show up at the beginning of the issue. Hey guys, in the background, remember me? I have 2 lines of dialogue. And then, you killed Black Goliath? Oh my God, don't we remember him? Nobody remembered. It was whatever. Anyway.
Okay. So this, of course, sends Peter into questioning his own stance on everything. There's also some people on Cap's side who decide to switch sides as well. Like this, they're like, we can't have this infighting. Look at what happened to Goliath. And they decide to go over to Iron Man's side, asking for amnesty. Meanwhile, Spider-Man basically tells Tony, it's it, I'm done. But of course, Tony and them just can't let him go like that, right? And so they recommissioned the Thunderbolts and sent Jack-O-Lantern and the Jester 3, I think, after him.
Yeah, the Jester. Yes. Then the Punisher just comes in and blasts them.
Yeah, and of course the Punisher comes in, saves Peter's life. And the Punisher decides to join the cause as well. And it all pretty much culminates when they want to go and free the prisoners in this concentration-style camp they've created in the negative zone. And
what is it, 42?
42. Yeah. Because it was the 42nd attempt out of 100 of getting it right.
And keep in mind, and I don't know if anybody was reading these when these were coming out, the hype for the return of Captain Marvel was real. There was a one-shot called The Return, and it was supposed to be the big return of Captain Marvel, right? Marvel. He shows up, I think, in 2 panels in this during the big fight at the end, and that's it. Yeah. He doesn't even have a line of dialogue. It was just so, I don't know. It was just really strange. But go ahead.
Yes. So, yeah, you're right, Great Garlu. Cap does lay out the Punisher for
for shooting all those people.
For shooting the people, yeah. So he does.
Doesn't he have a problem with that? Wasn't he like he's a murderer? We can't let him in here.
Yeah, well, other people had a problem with Punisher being a murderer, but then Cap originally was like, it's okay. But then he
let Wolverine hang out with the new Avengers.
Yeah, exactly. Then he punched him out for what he did. So then they have this, they were able to free those from the prison. And they have one last epic battle on the streets of New York, pretty much. And Cap is just about to beat Tony or finish him off or whatever he was going to do. Whether or not he was going to kill him, we may never know. But then a bunch of first responder civilians, like firefighters, police officers, EMTs, grab Cap and are trying to hold him back. And then Cap realizes that this struggle, what's going on, this cannot go on any longer.
Cap gets taken down. I'm sorry, go ahead.
He takes off
his
mask,
I get the symbolism, but it's so in your face.
I know. He drops his mask and his shield and is basically like, Steve Rogers is getting taken in, and so
he gets arrested.
So that kind of ends the scene. And then at the end, Tony decides to make that mom of that one kid that started all of this the director of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yep. Iron Man, director of S.H.I.E.L.D. That's the next story arc that happens next.
So,
and actually that turned out to be a really good story. Don't get me wrong. I think Civil War did a lot of good things to spin off a bunch of good series. We got the Initiative out of it, which eventually became Avengers Avenger. Please don't mention that again. What is wrong with you? We got Avengers Academy. There were some good things that came out of it. Bucky, Winter Soldier, Captain America for a while. And one of the things, Iron Man, director of S.H.I.E.L.D. That was an awesome story arc. So that's kind of where it ends. That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
That's really the premise. Nothing happened before to set this up. And it's not like, and we're not rating the comic.
No, we're
comparing
not rating
it to the movie. But I always thought it was goofy that they're going to care about this one time. This kind of reminds me of the whole Hulk thing. When superheroes and supervillains fight, there's always going to be casualties. Why point out this one time that it happened? Makes no sense to me, but whatever.
Yeah, and Project Viking, you did mention one part of the story that was interlaced throughout, and obviously that is the conflict between Sue Storm and Reed Richards. After Goliath is killed by the cyborg Thor, and once Sue realizes what exactly her husband is up to, she ends up leaving him, basically. And so does Johnny after he recovers from the hospital. And they kind of go into hiding and they start working with Cap's Avengers. And they end up getting Namor and his Atlanteans to come fight with them. So they end up, getting some folks to help out. But in the end, Cap, still ends up giving up at the end, or not giving him, turning himself in at the end of the day, stopping the fighting. So that is Captain America, or nope, that's not Captain America. That is just Civil War.
That was Civil War. Now we're going to be talking about Captain America Civil War.
The movie.
Which, man, what about that? That they pulled a fast one on us, man. I don't know if everybody remembers when they were unveiling all the movie titles, and they unveiled Captain America and the Serpent Society, and everybody was like, why are we putting that gif up?
Because if we're going to talk about this movie, that's one gif.
That's a hell of a gif. Wow. Okay.
Look at that bicep.
That's not fair.
That's my Cap. Okay, go
now
on.
We're going to come back to me, a normal dude, and I'm like, I need to go do some push-ups to kind of make my biceps look a third the size of that. God, bless, he was pulling a helicopter. Like, I believe that. Yo, like that scene, I believe that he was really pulling a helicopter because he looks so strong.
I would like to find, I'm sure someone has done it, but I would like to find a montage of all the scenes in any movie where men have had to do that. Because I know The Rock has done that a couple times. I think he did it in Hobbs and Shaw when he's holding on to a truck and also holding on to like a chain that goes to a helicopter.
Haven't seen it. So I don't know.
So there's a lot of things. Anyways.
So yeah, the movie
came out in 2016. Russo brothers directed it. Obviously, it is loosely based on the comic.
Loosely based on the comic because the main characters are fighting. Even some of the imagery, like when Iron Man is doing the repulsor blast on
his shield,
Cap's shield, that was straight out of the comic.
And even like so there's also in the comics, and I think it's the first battle, Spider-Man actually does end up taking Cap's shield and then using it. Like, so there's some of that stuff which we see in later on in the airport scene in Civil War. But
no, Mark Miller didn't write the script for the movie.
No, he did not.
No,
he did not. It was all Russo brothers.
I think at the time
Mark Feely's one of their go-to writers.
At the time, I think he was over at Fox. Like he was some kind of producer at Fox at the time.
Yeah, but he isn't. He's just credited as like for the inspiration, right? But he did not have a hand in writing the script. So
the movie's a little bit different.
It's still,
because it takes elements from the previous movies, where Ultron 2, Ultron, yeah, Ultron with the whole crashing of Sokovia. And a lot of deaths during that. So they're facing a lot of criticism for that. And then at the beginning of this movie too, with
it starts out with another catastrophe. Yeah. Right. So they're in Lagos, and it's the new Avengers team that we see at the end of Age of Ultron. Cap's leading a small team of Black Widow, Falcon. Well, at the time she's just Wanda, and they're trying to retrieve some biological weapon that Rumlow, who we had seen last in Winter Soldier, and we thought maybe it was dead, but of course he's not. Crossbones, and
that's the guy that needs to be in the Thunderbolts.
I hoped
I love that actor.
Well, didn't he blow himself? Didn't she kind of blow him up?
I ain't see nobody.
Okay. Anyway, so they're trying to retrieve this biological weapon, and during this battle on the streets of Lagos, Rumlow tries to blow himself up, and on the streets, and then Scarlet Witch is able to use her hex powers, which we now know are hex powers. I'm gonna say it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. To kind of contain the blast, and because she's not really good at controlling it yet, she ends up throwing it into the side of a building, which of course she ends up killing a lot of folks accidentally. Not her choice, or not her what she intended to do, but of course some of those people also were Wakandans who had come to do some like refugee work and stuff over there, as civil servants. So this, of course, has created quite an outcry, and just like in the comic book, it just created that whole issue of what are we doing with these superhumans? Between this and Sokovia. It's
a good question. Then I don't know if Tap's logic is being serious or not, but I think this is a good question. What is the hex power? How would you explain that? Like, I know in the comic books, it's like she can alter reality. Yeah, I'm not sure in the cinematic universe. I think to an extent she can, right? Well, she brought her children to life, so
she brought a vision to life. Yes, so she
also that
she can alter reality. At this time, though, I think it's more of just the manipulating energy. At
this time, it's kind of a MacGuffin, whatever
they needed at the time.
Sure,
she could just manipulate energy and things like that. That's what my idea is behind what they would consider their hex powers. So
oopsie, sorry, I saved 200 people on the street, but killed 5 people in an office.
I think
they were working OT though.
Maybe, and who knows what from the debris that fell, if anyone was injured. So it definitely was a disaster, to say the least. Mm-hmm. So meanwhile, we have Tony Stark at MIT, and he is confronted by a woman, just like in the.
Well, the very important thing about this scene though is
Barf, because we see it as Spider-Man Far From Home. No, we're not talking about connections. We're just talking
what the hell is Barf?
The biometric
retro framing. I thought you were talking about Barf from Spaceballs. No. It's the scene that he's playing with his parents.
Knowing it's the last time he'll see his parents.
Before they died in a car crash, right? Which is very important and kind of relevant to what happens in the story later on, yeah.
Yes. And so is Dean Pellman. But...
So is Barf. Carry on.
But he is again confronted by a woman who is.
Well, getting a small price to pay for salvation. Look at you guys. You're going to be Civil War before the night's over.
Yes. Basically, she's confronting him again for the death of her son during the Sokovia. He decided, to go there and help people. There's a lot of people helping people in I guess, these technically third world countries. I don't really know what you want to call them. Countries that need help. So
countries that need help is a good way to put it.
Because of this interaction, and of course because of the events of Sokovia, which of course Tony, I'm sure, takes a lot of the blame. He literally created Ultron, essentially. So I could see why he would take the blame for what happened. Whereas, in the comics, he really wasn't the New Warriors. But anyways. So,
can we leave the New Warriors out of this, please?
Sorry, that's what happened. So he ends up calling the Avengers together to meet with U.S. Secretary of State Thaddeus Ross. Thunderbolt Ross. Okay, that's not what he's called yet in the movie.
We're trying to make Thunderbolt Ross happen.
But that's what we're calling him, or that's what I love to call him. Just, anyways, comic origin. And basically saying the people can no longer, just let you guys act unattended. And he used a lot of good analogies. He's like, do we know where Thor is? Do we know where Banner is? He's like, do you think if I misplaced a nuclear weapon or 3-ton nuclear weapon that people would be okay with that? Okay, good point. So in this case, it's not just America, though. It's the UN. It's the United Nations saying we need to create something to kind of regulate superheroes, not just in America, but across the world. Because remember, Sokovia, Lagos, this isn't stuff that happened in America. This happened overseas. So the UN, in this case, it's a much larger scale kind of, thing called the Sokovia Accords, where they would essentially like register and things like that and be sanctioned by the UN to work as Avengers. If not, they have to turn in their shields, turn in their wings, and call it a day and not do superhero work anymore.
Sorry. Neil asked, how is this even a conversation? And I said, Amanda opens her mouth and I interrupt her. That's usually how it goes. So carry on. I just interrupted you.
So anyway, so basically, throughout this entire process, they do have the Sokovia Accords.
Nice to see you guys together talking comics. It is good to be back together.
Yes, we can talk comics.
We used to do this a lot every Friday, so it's nice to be back.
It is nice. So they get to go ahead and they have the Sokovia, Accords, meeting. We get introduced to Black Panther for the first time, his father, King T'Chaka. But keep in mind, we also have a background story. So this is a little bit different than the comics because keep in mind, this is Captain America's storyline, essentially. This is his third movie. So you also have the storyline of the Winter Soldier or Bucky Barnes. You get to see a flashback of him being called forth in 1991 to go basically kill some folks who have remnants of the super soldier serum, and they're in Siberia or they're overseas. Mm-hmm. And so he is sent off to kill him in 1991. Now back in present day, he's trying to get control of himself. He's now has escaped Hydra, which they have been taken down since then. And he's kind of living his life in hiding. But there's someone else, Helmut Zemo, which I only have.
Where's it at?
I only have one gift.
Do it, Amanda.
One gift.
Go ahead and show everybody. Oh my God! Look at those moves, baby.
This is not the same guy though that we see.
See what I mean? After rewatching it, you understand where I'm coming from. Yes. It's a different type of character.
But I'm okay with the new character. Oh. So this is a man who is burdened by what happened to Sokovia, and he has evil intentions. Whatever they are, they're not good for our superheroes. He tries to he tries to locate some of the Hydra agents who used to control Bucky Barnes. He does manage to locate one, steals the red book that has all of the code words that would activate the Winter Soldier and Bucky Barnes. We don't yet know what he's going to do with it. But while
Tevon, seriously, this is the longest break I've taken from Mass Effects on this. That's a compliment.
That is a compliment.
Thank you so much, man.
Thank you so much.
I just interrupted Amanda for that. But
no, you're fine.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So basically,
Dude, Darren, you're killing me with these things about my boys, the New Warriors, man. What's up with that? Steve Ditko. Steve the Legend Ditko created Speedball. Go ahead.
Okay. So at the Sokovia Accords meeting, of course, a van ends up exploding on the streets, killing King T'Chaka. The news reports say the person it looked like to be Bucky Barnes. So, of course, now Captain America has to get involved. Yes, there's side stories with Peggy Carter dying and all that stuff, but that's not important to this story. I mean, it's important to his story, but it's not important to this story. So, of course, Cap and Sam have to go and find out what's going on because they think that this is the case of mistaken identity. It cannot be Bucky. But, of course, Sharon helps him find out his location because she's S.H.I.E.L.D. And then ensues the first battle we see with Bucky and Cap trying to escape some S.H.I.E.L.D. agents and, of course, escape Black Panther because now he's looking out for revenge. So, of course, they get captured.
Of course.
And then we're at these facilities where Tony and Cap have another conversation, and it looks like Cap's about to sign the Accords, but then he asks about Wanda and what's going to happen to her. Basically, when he finds out they're going to keep her basically imprisoned in the Avengers compound, not good enough for Cap. He gets pissed off because she's just a child, and he refuses to sign it, which of course upsets Tony. But all this is not even paying attention to the fact that the psychiatrist sent in to help Bucky is not even the real psychiatrist. It is Helmut Zemo, who brings out the book, uses the code words, activates the Winter Soldier, and then we get him breaking out of this prison, fighting everyone on this base, including Black Panther, including Sharon Carter, Black Widow, which got a good.
I got you.
You got me?
You go.
Yeah.
Go on.
And ends up with that great scene of Cap. That's not it at all.
I got you, dude. Dang it. Hold on.
Scene of Cap trying to stop him from escaping on a helicopter. And he ends up knocking Bucky out. And him and Sam managed to, that one, him and Sam managed to sneak him away.
Whoa.
And are able to.
This the director's cut?
No, that was from the blooper reel. I
was like, I think you downloaded the wrong Avengers movie.
And
this is Avengers XXX.
They end up taking Bucky to an abandoned farm where they can, revive him, get him out of this is his brainwashed activation. And that's when he tells them what Helmut Zemo wanted to find out the location of the rest of the super soldiers, which is in Siberia at an old Hydra base. They've been in ice this whole time. So now they need to assemble a team. Meanwhile, Tony and his team are defeated, and they're like, they know where they're going to be. So they need to assemble their own team. Mm-hmm. So what happens? Black Widow goes to Black Panther. We get that awesome scene. I got you. Where she basically is confronted by one of his Dora Milaje. Yep, that's the one.
That's it.
So she asked Black Panther for help. Of course, he wants to help her. Yes.
Look at Black Panther.
I know.
He don't even want to come between these two strong-ass women.
Whatever. His face, his smile was said it all. And then, of course, we have Tony introducing us to Spider-Man for the first time in the MCU. So, of course, a little bit different than the comics, where Spider-Man is an established character, clearly.
Never heard of him.
Who is also older in the comics with a wife. But
and a grandma.
Point, yes.
Auntie.
Yes. But in this version, our Spider-Man just got his powers not too long ago. Doesn't even have the proper suit until Tony Stark gives it to him. So we have the cute scene where they meet and everything like that. Meanwhile,
Kat Dennings is getting married.
Yes, she is to Andrew WK.
That guy's still a thing?
I guess, but she's marrying him. So, and meanwhile, Cap recruits his own team. He gets Hawkeye, who helps break out Wanda from the compound, even though she had to go against poor Vision. And they also recruit Ant-Man.
I did not feed Strider, baby. Version. I didn't feed Strider. I'm sorry. I forgot. Tevon, thank you for bringing that out. Omar, did you feed? I didn't feed Strider. I'm sorry. Go ahead, man. That wasn't my fault. It was my wife's fault. We have Bucky and Sam along for the ride, too. Sharon had recovered their stuff that was taken into custody. And now she's on the run, which, of course, we all know what happens to her in the oncoming years after that happens. So then we get mainly the biggest fight scene for the movie, whereas in the comics, you have two major fight scenes between a lot of Avengers characters. In this one, we get one big fight scene, and that is the airport scene. So when they're at the airport, ready to take off to go to Siberia, of course, the airport is shut down. Of course, he knows that's because of Iron Man. Iron Man tries to plead with him one more time, but of course, Cap's not going to listen. So then we get our battle between the two. A lot of great stuff. That'll work. That's not. I have some. That's the. Anyway, this was like 2 seconds, man. Look at that. A battle occurs, and no one dies in this battle, but we do have Rhodey getting severely injured as a result, losing the use of his leg. So for the MCU, that's pretty much about as far as we're going to get, being a PG-13 movie. But he's still walking around. He is. Thank you so much for the super sticker Trumbo gun. I wish I could show it. The StreamYard doesn't let me show. What is super sticker? Describe it. Wait, no. Maybe he didn't. Lies, all lies is what he's saying. Okay. So Bucky and Sam, or Bucky and about feeding Strider or Amanda's synopsis. Maybe, please. So Bucky and Cap managed to escape to Siberia, where they find Helmut Zemo, and of course. Iron Man, after they've imprisoned all of the other Avengers that were siding with Cap, like Falcon and Ant-Man and Hawkeye, he does manage to,
plea with.
But more importantly, though, where's the Stan Lee cameo in this film rank for y'all?
Ooh, it's up there. That Tony Stank line is pretty funny. So it's one of my favorite.
No, he's not
like
playing.
A mailman.
He's not Willie though, right?
No, he's just
a mailman.
Mailman.
Tony Stank is a good line.
He's like,
it's a good line. It's a good line.
So it's one of my favorites. I'll tell you what.
Okay, Cal, easy. Black Iron Man because they don't have Black Goliath knockoff yet. Oh my God, you're right. Actually, you're right.
Oh wow, I didn't think about it.
But they kill him.
Okay, so it's the MCU, and plus they're gonna do Armor Wars, so they can't kill War Machine yet. Okay, so
that's right.
Yeah, Armor Wars coming out.
On
a Disney.
But here's the thing, though, Amanda. Do you know? I swear to God, did you delete it?
No, not yet. Okay, so
all right, you know who would not have been shot down by Vision? That's right. Terrence the Man Howard.
He didn't mean to get shot down.
Don Cheadle was a punk War Machine. Terrence Howard would have owned it.
So
anyway.
Iron Man does find out from Friday, his AI, that of course the psychiatrist was a fake, that it is someone who was, and that even that the person who was impersonating was not actually Bucky at the
Trumbo gun, did you send another super
explosion.
sticker?
And so Iron Man gets Sam to tell him where they were going because Sam said, I'll only tell you if you go as a friend. And he's able to go to Siberia as well. So now we have Siberia, Iron Man, and Bucky all in Siberia together. They confront Helmut Zemo, finding out that he did not, in fact, activate the super soldiers, but killed them all. And find out that he wanted them all dead. He didn't want any more of them alive.
Heather loves Civil War.
Nice, Heather. Yes. Wait, which one? Anyways, so
you said not yet. I just caught that, Tevon. Anyway, go ahead. I keep interrupting you.
So then Zemo brings up a good point that this whole thing was brought together. Yes, the way it comes about is very circumstantial, but that's fine. It's neither here nor there. He brought them all together because an empire that is destroyed from the outside can still rebuild. An empire destroyed from within is gone forever. And so that's when he reveals the tape, the security footage showing Bucky killing Iron Man's parents. And then Cap reveals that he did know about it. This angers Iron Man clearly a lot. So they added this, final battle between the three of them.
That scene was so good.
It was. Tears off Bucky's arm. You have the epic scene where they meet face to face, which is just like in the comics. And then eventually, Cap is able to get the one up on Tony. He doesn't kill him. He just shuts his suit down pretty much by slamming his shield into his, what is that thing called? No, that arc reactor.
Arc reactor.
Yeah. And then as he's leaving, Iron Man pretty much says that shield doesn't belong to you. So he drops it and he leaves. So now, of course, we know we don't get Cap the shield for a whole movie, but it's fine. And then in the aftermath, this man a shield. He's back at the Avengers compound. He's healing Rhodey with his technology. And he gets a letter from Cap basically like, I know we disagree on this. It's one thing we probably won't ever agree on, but if you ever need me, I'm here for you. Sends him a burner phone. And
I don't think Cap would ever call it a burner phone. Okay,
that's calling it a burner phone.
That's an Avengers phone.
The rest of them are all, and he kind of gives them a heads up that, hey, I'm not going to let everyone rot in your raft prison, because at this point in time, all the Avengers who were against Tony are now in this raft prison, not in the negative zone, because right now the negative zone doesn't exist in the MCU, so we cannot have a prison inside the negative zone. So it's just the raft.
And the raft is a thing in the comics.
Yeah, and it's a thing in the comics. So it's a shield, prison. So it's not unheard of. So that's where they all are. But of course, Cap gets them all out at the end. And Tony, in a strangely Tony-like fashion, when Thaddeus Ross calls him to talk with the prison outback, he's like, wait, you're breaking up, and then hangs up on him. And guys, hit the like button. You haven't hit it already. Thank you very much.
Oh, I was just telling.
But he was just.
Do you remember the Next Wave cover of Civil War where it said Mark Miller's licks goats?
No, I don't remember.
It was like really the entire family.
Me and Alicia are watching Rainbow High in my room.
Okay.
Hi.
Okay.
Hi.
Sorry, guys.
My daughter's trying to steal the show. This is the adjectiveless Alicia. Well, we got to give her a pronoun. What's her adjective?
I don't know.
All right.
Can you ask Lydia to take a look at it?
Yeah. Why don't you?
Sure she can figure it out.
No,
she can't. She's smart.
Did you
She's
ask
smarter
her?
than I am.
Hello.
Go ask her. We're talking right now.
We're in the middle. Like, do y'all understand technology? Like internet?
I don't know.
Look, people are gonna drop.
Look,
they're gonna drop.
Like,
all right.
I don't know.
Te quiero, mi amor. Anda, va,
Lyndon,
okay?
just go play.
Here,
I'll be done with
she's
this.
gonna take you.
No, she's gonna ask Lydia for you. Go,
Yeah.
go. It's her sister. She'll ask.
Just,
She doesn't know rainbow.
She'll figure it out.
She's smarter than I am. She'll figure it out. Oh wow. Okay, yeah, I got it. All right.
Okay, so Tony and Totally
My
Fashion
God.
pretty much.
The near mint Avengers are assembling, right?
Yes, Weezy, you did tune in at the perfect time. So
that's what we're still talking about. Civil War.
we're still talking about
So
Civil War.
promise. Look at that
So of
gift.
course, at the end of the day, Tony pretty much cuts off Ross and lets Captain America gets away with getting everyone out of prison. So kind of leaves Tony in a little bit of a gray area at the end of this, not in a squarely, even though he's like with the Accords, it's also like, yeah, he kind of still, he supports Cap, he supports the other Avengers, but now they're on the run for the next couple of years until the events of Infinity War. And that is that's the movie.
Okay.
So yeah, so there's obviously a few similarities. Obviously, there's some imagery. We mentioned it when we were talking about the movie, like the imagery of Cap and Iron Man during the fights.
Mhm. It's great.
Right
out of the
shield
comic
and
book, man.
Yeah, that's right out of the comic book. And then of course when Cap's shield gets stolen by Spider-Man, that's another one.
Yep, that's another one.
That they use from the comics as well. Lyndon.
What's Rainbow High on?
I don't know, baby. I have no idea.
What the heck is Rainbow High,
Go check
Lyndon?
YouTube. Ask her to check YouTube.
No, we just
Lyndon
said,
Claire.
We just did YouTube.
She used her middle name, Lyndon.
I don't know. There, go. Try it out. Go. One. Shut the door on your way out. Thank you, Noah.
Amanda's got a master's in recap. Like seriously, like that's her like her degrees. Like
Even
that
though I've
degree,
gotten
that degree back.
multiple times.
Okay, first of all, I'm sorry about that. That degree back there,
The one
that's
at
a
the
degree
top.
on recap. Well, we're not gonna show. Come on, we don't do that here. We're not gonna show that off. But her degree back there, that's recap degree. So what did you think about the comic and the movie? Like,
Yeah, so there's some different similarities as far as the overall theme, I guess. You know, in the movie, I think Cap's argument.
Oh wait, Trumbo, I get it. Look at each other and say what you appreciate. Are you trying to do the online therapy? I appreciate how smart she is and how she can roll.
Thank you.
Like with
The punches?
interruptions.
Yes.
Yep.
And I appreciate Omar's comic book knowledge.
I don't think that'll get me by in the real world.
Okay,
but
yeah.
whatever.
Well, it is right now, isn't it? Okay.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks, man.
Yeah.
We love your family.
thank
Oh, thank you so much, 10 Cent Story. We love you all. Thank you.
Okay. So, what did I think of it? So,
Mhm.
I remember reading the comic after I watched the movie, and I don't know if it would have changed my opinion of it. So,
Maybe.
yes, there are some similarities, and yes, there are some differences. Obviously, you know, with the comic, having not read anything prior or any of the in-between issues, unless incidentally I ended up reading them for something else. You know, the cast of characters obviously is very large in Miller's Civil War, but rightly so, because the cast of characters in Marvel comics universe is very large. Whereas in the movie universe, we don't have that many characters to work with, so we don't have that many characters we need to focus on. And with a 2-hour movie, that is very helpful to have just the focus be on Iron Man and Cap, which I definitely think the movie did a little bit better job of kind of seeing them interact more, the two of them together.
You keep super chatting as he's paying for the therapy. Thank you so much. We really do appreciate it. Yes, we do care about each other. Amanda's the best co-host.
Yes,
we argue a lot.
Second best co-host. I'm just kidding.
Second to who?
I don't know.
The man's giving us therapy money. Anyway, go ahead.
Yes. So Dean, why is Dean being rude?
I hate both comic and movie. Sorry. That's your opinion, and that's cool.
That's cool. That's your opinion.
Our opinion does not make your opinion invalid. You are more than welcome to share your opinion.
Yeah, and I didn't like the way some of the people are characterized in the Mark Miller comics either. Like for me, the idea of Tony Stark in the comic, I didn't like his character arc, I guess. It wasn't what I really expected from him. So it wasn't
from Mark Miller. Do you know him personally?
No, from Mark Miller. No, from Spider-Man. Iron Man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and even Cap. I mean, I think the way that Cap kind of talks about why he didn't want to sign the Sokovia Accords he lays it out to me a little bit cleaner and makes more sense in the movie than it did really in Civil War as well. So I think from those aspects, I mean, overall...
What's Roblox? Bye, Heather. Go play
Bye,
Roblox.
Heather.
I hope you've had fun with that. Go ahead.
Yes. So for me, I do prefer the movie to the comic. And yes, I don't know if it's because I watched the movie before I read the comic, and that might have changed my opinion of it. I'd like to think that it didn't, but at the same time, there were issues I saw with the comic, like the New Warrior stuff. So if I've never read a New Warriors comic, but that definitely doesn't make me want to read a New Warriors comic. Just the way they're characterized, the whole idea behind it. I'm sure they are great characters. I'm sure the New Warriors are fantastic.
They're wonderful characters.
But maybe just the way they're characterized. And that's, I think, some of the problems I had maybe with the issues as a whole. Like, you know, of course we don't get to see the Fantastic Four and Captain America Civil War, which is a shame, but now we can eventually see them in a
money talks,
MCU
man.
movie.
Money talks. That's all I'm gonna
But,
say.
you know, even with, I've read a lot of Fantastic Four, so that version of Sue sometimes, I love the Hickman version a little bit better. I love the Wade
That is
version.
a strong statement. The
What?
Civil War II trumps both.
Woo.
Woo.
I haven't read Civil War 2, but I didn't.
It's rough.
Have
It's
heard
rough.
I didn't
It's
want
rough.
to.
It's rough.
Yes, and Kale, you bring up a good point that the movie's largely character driven, and I agree. So with the comic book, it's all about moving to the next battle or moving to the next event, but you don't really get time to focus on Captain America as a character or Iron Man as a character. We get a little bit of Iron Man interacting, like to see what his character is and why he would choose what he chose.
Yeah.
We don't get to see that, but in this movie you do. You get to see Cap and Iron Man interact on several occasions and have conversation about their disagreements and still come to the conclusion that they don't agree after all said and done. Yes, of course, some of it's also driven by the outside storyline of Zemo. Whether or not he drove some of this storyline is circumstantial, but it was his.
He's definitely an
master plan.
outside force that
Yes, that did
impacts
something.
everybody, and I think that works. So
Yes, and some of the people who switch sides,
let's
I agreed with.
let's get to the basics, because I mean, if you look at it, Civil War, the comic book, to me, and this is just my opinion, again, you can love it, that's cool, was a mess, basically because it came out of nowhere.
Yes.
We have seen the same thing several times before. We've seen the Mutant Registration Act. We've seen the when the Avengers were for killing the, I don't want to give away who they wanted to kill, but during the Operation Galactic Storm, there was separation. There was division between the Avengers. Iron Man was on one side, Captain America was on the other side. And it actually made sense because one of them said, we're going to take a life. And the other one was like, no, we're not. We're the Avengers. We're not going to take a life. That's not what we stand for.
Anyways, Marvel did it first. It's fine.
Marvel did. Sure. Mark Miller wrote that too.
I know.
So it feels like this just kind of came out of nowhere. They fought so quick and they turned on each other so quick. And then superheroes were turning on each other so quick.
Yeah.
I think the overall scheme, the overall plan from the editor-in-chief, Joe Quesada, was let's make comic books fun again. Remember the old 60s days when the Hulk would see Thor across the street and be like, I'm going to go kick his ass. Let's bring that back because it's an easy story to tell. And I feel like that's what they were doing. And the execution was just so bad to me. None of, the characters were written so poorly.
I agree.
The artwork was beautiful, though. And you damn right, I would buy an omnibus day one of this. I know.
Even if just because the artwork, the
artwork by Stephen Niven's freaking phenomenal. Yeah.
But I agree with you that it did feel rushed, and I guess it's a 7-issue story, but from the get-go, it wasn't like we get to see really the inside workings of what Steve's motivation is, why he's truly not in agreement over this. It's just that one scene in S.H.I.E.L.D. and it's done. And now we have this separation and people are getting thrown in jail and there's chaos is ensuing. And meanwhile, we got...
Well, even the people that were teaming up with them,
didn't make sense.
You had Spider-Man go with Tony Stark. That did not make any sense.
Because he's keeping his secret identity and he's a street level guy, which would make more sense. Now, in the movie, yes, movie Spider-Man makes complete sense to stick with Tony. He's a young child who's a young kid. I guess he's not a child. He's a teenager. He's a teenager who idolizes this man who has been on the front cover of every magazine he
that makes sense.
And he wants to follow Tony. He doesn't know right or wrong at this point. He doesn't know. Now he would probably not agree with him.
you're absolutely right. Whereas in the comic books, he's a grown-ass man with a wife and family.
To protect. And even if they're Avengers Towers, obviously that didn't stop anyone.
And working for the government, that it just made no sense.
It doesn't make sense. Yeah.
Hold on. We have a super chat here. So is Superman black now?
Well, there's been versions of him already in the comics, correct?
Yeah, the multiverse.
Yeah.
The different Earths. We're talking about the movie, right?
Yes, there is going to be a movie.
Look, I'm going to tell you something right now. I don't believe a DC movie's being made until I see the first trailer. I don't care if I see promotional photos. I don't see if I see.
They already canceled New Gods.
Exactly.
So let's just and that was Ava DuVernay. You think that's a sure shot, and they canceled it already. I mean,
don't get too excited.
Freaking Ava DuVernay, they canceled her movie. So I don't. Yeah, he's right. Unless there's a trailer.
What'd you say?
He's right.
Mark it. What time is that? What time? I can't tell the damn time. All right, go ahead. So what were we talking about?
Gabriel. These are also good suggestions, by the way, for Batman: The Killing Joke and Red Sun.
Oh God, great suggestion.
We could do animated movies too, because that's not a bad idea. We, with HBO Max, we can see all of them.
Okay, so the movie to me, I think, was a better setup because it's not a fight between two friends over government issues, like government mandated issues. It's a fight between two friends because one is trying to protect the thing that ties him to the past and somebody that he considered family.
Yes.
And the other one is like
a friend he has.
Dude, when Robert Downey Jr. delivered that line of like, he killed my mom.
He's like, I don't
doesn't even say anything about his dad. Damn,
like,
that was
at the end of the day, he loves
that was so potent. That was so
much better than Martha.
Much better than Martha. But okay, not even gonna go there. But you know what I'm saying? Like that's what it was about. That fight was I'm trying to protect my friend.
And he brings it up several times about the personal level, because when he has that conversation with Captain America, when they first take in Bucky and Zemo interrogates him as a psychiatrist, and he goes, he asked him about Howard and how he, I was always glad to see that he married. He's like, oh yeah, you didn't know you were friends with my dad. You told me like 50 times. Like you already see that tension between the two of them, the personal tension, because Captain America to Howard Stark was a hero of his. I'm sure Tony Stark had to see that, live up to that every day. And that had to be hard for a young kid, this American icon like Captain America, who they thought was dead. And so, it has to be hard for him. And we saw that tension already build in Avengers. I mean, and I don't know if the tension built in the comics between the two of them, if they had that kind of tension in the comics, or if it just kind of blew up suddenly because they both just disagreed on this idea.
No, I mean, there was no buildup to Civil War. It happened with issue 1. That's all we got. In the comic, they tried to cast Tony as a surrogate father figure for Peter for a while before CW. Plus, he gave him a place to live so I could buy it. I forgot about that. I did forget about the line of like, is there money? Are we going to get paid? What is it, baby? Let me see the phone.
Yeah, so you can see that maybe Spider-Man would end up going with Tony in the comics. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Because of that, yeah. But it makes sense, again, for him then to flip sides a little bit. But at least in the movie version, there is no questioning why someone like Spider-Man would go with Tony Stark, because they made it very clear this kid idolizes him. And
Lydia,
there you go.
You can take it.
And other points, because in the movie version or in the comic version, wasn't Vision on Cap's side originally?
I don't want to spoil what was going on, but Vision wasn't Vision. I'll just say that.
Well, there you go. But at least in the movie version,
in case people haven't read it,
Vision was on Tony Stark's
Y'all recognize
side.
Miss Lydia back there. Yeah, that's my baby.
It is.
Even as far back as first few issues of Fraction's Iron Man run. Here's hoping for Marvel front page Disney series a la The Newsroom. Or The Pulse.
I do love the Newsroom.
That was it. That was a good line too. He was my friend, so was I.
Yes. And that's another thing.
That's one of my favorite.
So here's
lines.
another thing I preferred, and I think it's the writing, the dialogue overall.
The delivery.
Maybe I'm not a fan of Mark Millar's writing or his dialogue, but I do prefer the dialogue in the Civil War movie. Yes, you got the Marvel quips because it is an MCU movie, but at the end of the day, there are some really great lines in it. And I didn't really get that from Mark Millar's writing in the comics. It didn't resonate with me as much. And I've read a lot of comics where I don't have the surrounding backstory and stuff, and I'm still moved by the comic. So I know it's possible. So that it comes down to it's the writing, right? If it's
absolutely,
yeah. So that's what it comes down to for me. So at the end of the day, that's why for me the movie was a better adaptation of the comic book. It captured the essence of what the comic book was trying to talk about. This difference between these two friends, this idea of superhumans being
superhero fighting superhero.
Yeah,
that's what you want to see.
And we got a great fight scene. I mean, with some great stuff. I mean, dude, you got a metal arm. Like, we have some great, like, Ant-Man going big. I mean, it was fantastic.
Ant-Man going big.
Yeah.
I forgot
maybe
about
some of
that.
the CGI might have been a little wonky, but overall, it was a great fight scene.
Well, yeah, it's not a review of the movie. You know how I feel about, the CG in this scene. Ugh.
Yeah, exactly. There are some issues there, but at the end of the day, it was a great fight scene. But you get the essence of what Civil War was accomplishing in the comics, which was superhumans need to be regulated, right?
Yeah. Thank you so much. This was a great idea. This is a good segment.
Yes, thank you, Anna. Yeah.
That's why you called. Maddie, why are you at the house? I didn't get a text. Wait, Melanie's there. Melanie's at home. She's in the shower.
There you go.
Go ahead. The one time I haven't been out of my house in months.
He hasn't. That's why we got him out of the house, so he could have some time where he's not in the house.
You need the soldier serum, steroids, to look like. Oh,
I did like. Yes, you're right.
Tevye. Like who? Who we talking about?
I don't know, but I like Tevye's right. I love this right here. He's like, "Give me back my roadie."
Oh, wait, which roadie?
Not your roadie.
You mean the real roadie, right? Is that who we're talking about? The real roadie?
Yes, the real roadie.
Where's he at?
This one right here.
No, that's not the real roadie. He said the real roadie. There he is.
So yes, and like, I remember reading the comic, and I was really excited to read the comic because not that I knew it wasn't going to be like, because I think Omar even had warned me, it's not going to be like the movie. So just come in knowing that. But I guess I was hoping, for me, was hoping the writing would kind of live up to it.
This is crazy. What Leo's answering Q&As now. What's happening?
But yes, that's my overall opinion of it. For me, I'm movie 100%.
I want to see a civil war between Terrence Howard and Don Cheadle. That's
never going to happen.
That's the Civil War.
Yes.
Eres el hombre, Omar. Muchas gracias, hermano. That's the Civil War I would like to see.
Yes, leave Don Cheadle alone.
I'm not picking on Don Cheadle. I think he's a great actor. Just, I prefer Terrence Howard.
All
right. So Terry Crews is War Machine. Is this news? No, stop it, Jordan. That's fake.
I do love Terry Crews.
I do
about
too.
To see him in a
but I want to see Terry
movie.
Crews. Who would Terry Crews be?
Oh my God,
Black Goliath.
That's what I was going to say.
And then he's going to get killed.
No, who says he's going to get killed? He's going to get killed in the war.
No, what's his name? Lawrence Fishburne was Goliath. Remember? In Ant-Man.
That's right.
Ant-Man 2.
In the Wasp. Yeah, he was
Ant-Man
Goliath.
2.
What was his name? So then what could Terrence Howard, or not Terrence Howard.
Terrence Howard. Terrence Howard is War Machine. We've talked about this. Terry Crews.
So what does everyone else think in the chat? So just give us one word answer. Do you prefer the book or the movie?
Absolutely. Yeah. Let us know in the chat. And if you're watching this later, let us know in the comments. Yes. Which do you prefer, the comic or the movie?
And this is something that we're going to be doing, guys, for, we're trying to now that Loki will be on Wednesdays, sorry. We'll be doing our Loki reviews on Wednesday nights along with the news. And so Fridays, we thought we'd dedicate to just doing this new segment because we really think it's a fun and different way. We're always talking about it, right? We do reviews of these movies or these TV shows, and always the comic book gets brought up, right? And so, yes, you don't ever want to compare two source materials, but isn't it fun once in a while just be like, let's actually take a look at these two, the source material and the adaptation, and just give it a fair shake. Besides leaving your personal opinions aside, leaving your, whatever you have. Because, I mean, I'm looking at my shelf and a lot of young adult novels I absolutely love.
Well, you always hear people
that made into crappy movies. So.
Well, I was going to say, you always hear people that read books. I have never heard anybody say the movie is better, right?
Yes.
With the exception of something like Lord of the Rings.
Yes. And most of the Harry Potters, middling at best. The only one that was...
No, Harry Potter movies are not as good as the books.
Yeah, that's what I said. They're like in the middle. Sometimes you get like a Prisoner of Azkaban where they're like, that movie wasn't half bad.
Which one's the Guillermo del Toro?
That's the one.
Oh, okay.
Alfonso Cuarón.
So bring back Ed Norton.
Hispanic director. or Spanish director. You got it.
I get them all mixed up.
Yeah,
all my
obviously.
Latinos. Bring back Ed Norton as Bruce Banner next. All right. Yeah. Well,
There we go.
I don't know how much power you think we got, but we're gonna make that happen.
But yeah, I wanted to kind of give you guys an idea of some of the comics or / movies that we were looking at. Like I said, I really want to do Men in Black. Someone had mentioned The Mask. That I thought that would be really interesting. 300, another.
It's a quick read. Too.
That's a quick read. Yeah. We could do Constantine, From Hell, I Killed Giants, which
that's so. They are so identical. I don't know. That's a hard one.
What is?
I Killed Giants because he wrote the screenplay.
Yes, so you'd have to see how much. I'd be interested to see what they cut from it. Kick-Ass, Wanted. I know a lot of people want us to do the Wanted. The Losers, League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, because I just want to have to watch that. I actually like the movie. So
that was Sean Connery's last.
I've never read the comic. Yes, it's Sean Connery's last.
The comic is that's another one. So we want to do this segment, but we also realize some of these comics take a long time to read. So we might put was it really that bad in between some of these?
Yes.
But if you have ideas, let us know in the comments if you're watching later. But to answer Amanda's questions, people are saying the movie. Terry Crews had a real short screen time in Deadpool. Oh, that's right, he did. Movie, mid. Oh, you're middle ground.
Middle ground. There you go.
Movie 100%. I like that answer. Very, very middle ground. Movie +1 for the movie. Where's the dude that was in? Like, I know there was somebody
early on in our chat.
Luke Cage. Although we got a good Luke Cage, I like that guy.
But if they don't bring him back, then he would be the replacement.
Look at this answer. I don't think I can choose. Is it like Sophie's choice for you?
It is. That's difficult.
Civil War movie. Look, there's my boy Joe. No, Joe.
I like them both.
Joe.
No, we know you like
Sophie's
comics.
choice.
It's okay.
A boat sinking. You have to get rid of one. Movie.
If it was Rose or you, what would you do? Would you throw her off of the
Rose? You know about
Leo? I'm talking about Titanic. If Rose was,
I like that you're calling her Rose and him Leo.
Yeah, well, I forget.
Not the characters. Jack.
So if you were in Jack's situation, would you get on that door, or would you kick her off, or would you die? That's the question.
Movie, though, I'm still mad at what it led into. What did it lead into?
Are you talking about Infinity War?
What?
Or are you talking about Falcon and Winter Soldier? Because technically those, I would say, are things that...
I thought it led into Infinity War, right? Movie,
yes. Well,
neither.
Or Spider-Man Homecoming, or is it Spider-Man Homecoming? Because that also was a lead-in.
And then you're going to have problems with her. Neither. No. The comic does have a stronger beginning, in my opinion. I can see that. I prefer a root canal without anesthetics to eat. I love you, Phil.
Phil, that's a good, honest answer.
There are people that really enjoy the book, I think. I prefer the movie because reading is for nerds. Thanks a lot, Max. We appreciate that. Movie 9 out of 10. Tony Stanks. That's right.
Ant-Man 2. Is that?
I like both. Okay, Manuel Ortiz also likes both.
Go.
Movie from Leo. Leo ain't read the comic though, but I ain't gonna call him out. Terry Crews is Power Man. I prefer the movie. It gave us a great character development. In the comic is a mess. If you do the death of Superman, please put it up against Superman Doomsday. Movie over comic, honestly. Once Upon a Time versus Fables. Oh, please. Dude, do you know that story that Bill Willingham tried to sell his Fables to... Who did Once Upon a Time? Was it NBC? ABC. Yeah. And then 4 years... They rejected it. 4 years later, they come up with this unique idea called Once Upon a Time.
Taps Logic, that would be a really interesting one to do.
Love you too.
I remember when I told Omar, so I never read Fables at the time because I wasn't yet into comics, and I remember telling him about Once Upon a Time and how much I loved it, and he's like, I'm going to get you these comics. I'm going to get you
I don't sound anything like that.
Oh, you kind of sound like that.
I kind of sound like that. I am kind of forceful.
Because they are better, and that's what they were really based off of.
Am I wrong?
Went into the whole spiel about
Am I wrong?
Yeah.
Am I wrong?
But apparently that happened with like Zootopia 2 as well. That was another thing Disney did.
With what?
Someone, I don't remember what the original...
Beastars, the manga?
No. Someone tried to sell their idea, which is basically was Zootopia, and then Disney rejected it, but then later made Zootopia. Oh, yeah, it was a whole big thing, even though I loved it.
I like Zootopia too. I heard the same thing about Avatar and the Freddie Prinze Jr. HGI movie. Yes, this is true. Connery quit movies because it was so bad. Because he had to edit that thing because it was a mess.
League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Yeah.
That's why
Oh my
I've
gosh,
only ever
that
seen the
movie.
so to read the comic and then compare it to the movie would be fantastic for me.
I'm telling you, Omar, the New Warriors are B negative, Trailblazer, and Screen Time. Stop denying. Why are you trying to make that happen?
Well, let me say the Mark Miller Civil War did not make me want to read a New Warriors.
Well, it's not my New Warriors. Hashtag not my New Warriors. Forrest Gump is a good book versus movie review. I've never read the book, but I love that movie. You know, they wanted to make a sequel. And then we had 9/11 happen. And then everybody that was on board said, you know, it's a different world. We can't do it justice. And I see you, Joe. Fine. The movie. I can't believe you made me type that.
Oh,
You're right, Joe. I did make you type that. We do need a new actor for Iron Fist. 100%.
Well, yeah. I mean, now he is really good in Dickinson, though. That actor, I forget his name off the top of my head.
He was great in Game of Thrones.
He's Game of Thrones. But yeah, and he's really good in Dickinson. I love his character in it. It's a show on our Apple TV Plus, which I don't know why I'm promoting that so much. But if you haven't watched Mythic Quest, they you
keep pushing that. How did you even get that in
because
here?
Because they put out episodes 2 and 3 this Friday.
Okay, can I get that code? Fantastic. Can I get that passcode then?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Am I a bad person for not liking X-Men? No, not at all. Everybody's entitled to their opinion.
Oh, James was suggesting for comics versus movie Faceoff, Batman by
Gotham by Gaslight. That's an awesome freak. And I forgot there was a Gotham by Gaslight movie.
There is one. Yeah, I think it's on HBO Max.
So Amanda's writing all these ideas down.
Yep.
I see. She's on top of it.
I'm on top of it.
Look at that.
Look at this. Oop.
Write damn idea down.
Gotham.
Thank you, Meow Nian, for the super chat. I will say, though, Civil War era is a turning point where Ultimate Marvel started experiencing a decline. You know, yeah, you're right. And it seemed like all the edginess and the kind of like a little bit of the dark things that were happening in the Ultimate Universe were coming into the 616 universe. But anyway, it started experiencing a decline, and 616 started coming back in full force. And say what you will, like say what I will about Mark Miller's Civil War, it sold like crazy. People were buying second printings. People were buying and it's one of the main, that and House of M were the main reasons why we started getting more and more variant covers. Again, back to the 90s. Read my Q&A.
Okay.
Leo. Shadow and Bone. Book versus show. That's an Amanda show.
That's a, yeah.
That's an Amanda show.
I finished the trilogy and watched the whole show. That would be for Omar a little bit of a...
It's a lot. Omar's making videos every day.
It's a novel without pictures, so it would be a little hard for him.
Did you see my comment, Omar? You like this comic?
I don't know.
Which comment? I saw the I Love You, that one. Oh, Blackfire by Hernando Rodriguez is a fantastic Spanish horror comic. No, but I want to check that out. I have not read it. Mark Miller betrays Stan Lee with his Iron Man portrayal in the comic. I love you, Dean. You're strong force.
Yeah, I was not a fan of his Iron Man portrayal.
Stan hated that story with his every single cell. As for the comic, almost all the heroes are act out of character. All right.
Yes.
I'm with you on that. Like I said, there were some really cool scenes. So like when Captain America jumps out of the helicarrier, jumps on that plane.
There are some great scenes.
Pretty badass when Punisher comes in and shoots Jack. I always call him Jack-Off-Lantern because of the hood, but it's Jack-O-Lantern.
We might. I wonder if we'll ever see him. Who is it? K-Posthetic. You're right. I think you cannot know MCU Civil War because they did not have the rights to many characters.
Also that.
Well, I mean, yes, that's why. But at the end of the day, you know, I did like that we had.
Those are really good.
What?
I'm sorry, From Hell and V for Vendetta.
Oh, they're in my list.
They're on her list.
They're on my list. Project Viking, nowhere about it.
We got you, Project Viking.
But I mean, I think at the end of the day, because it is supposed to be a Captain America movie, because the major Avengers large events were not going to be Civil War, but
the Demon Bear Saga and the New Mutants movie.
That's true because we did watch it, and it is available on HBO Max to watch. So we could do that.
I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, you're fine. So yeah, at the end of the day, I honestly I'm glad there weren't that many superheroes in the Captain America Civil War movie. I'm glad that it was a smaller group. And at the time, that's really, what we had established in the MCU anyways.
It's another one. Man, you guys are coming up with some good ideas. Happy. That's Grant Morrison.
Oh,
and it's less Grant Morrison and more... I know Grant Morrison wrote it.
Stumptown, too. And I love Stumptown, the show. So
they were really, really, just... It was like Garth Ennis writing that book. And we are going to be doing Invincible. I know we're going to be joining Maddie for Old Reader, New Reader on the 25th with the Invincible Compendium, Volume 1. If you guys want to join us for that.
Finally, I'll get to read it after watching that entire.
Oh, you get to know all the secrets and stuff. Hola, NMC in chat. What's up, Scott? How you doing, buddy? We got a lot of great people in the chat tonight. It's been a lot of fun. Oh, Stumptown. That's another good one. Thank you,
Yes,
Tevon.
I love that show. I mean,
you did?
Yeah,
it got canceled.
It did, but I liked it. Jake Johnson was in it, and Colby Smulders. I thought it was. I really enjoyed it. And what's that guy? Michael
Myers.
Michael Ealy.
I don't
yeah.
know who that is.
Yeah. He's like in. I think he was in stuff like My Best Man or whatever. So, but I like him, and it was a really well done show. I'm sad it got canceled, but that's the problem with that. I always thought was the problem with cable, and that's something that isn't a topic for another show. Is TV shows never get a chance to really get their footing. That's the kind of thing I like about streaming is that they can sit on there and really gain that traction, and so you can get more than one season typically out of it. Which is
Gideon. You all have a lot of good suggestions.
Yes, this could go on for on and on.
The Crow, Akira. And here's a really good question, and I'm being serious. Dredd. I love the movie, and I'm going to go back to
Dredd's in my list too.
But which case file for Dredd do you all recommend? If you're watching this later, for the Dredd movie with Carl Urban. I love the movie, but I want to know which case files you all recommend, because there's so much Dredd. I had another one highlighted. Was it the Ed Brubaker? This was during the beginning of Ed Brubaker's run, if I'm not mistaken, towards the end of Bendis' run, beginning of Daredevil. Yeah. What's up, Mario Rodriguez? My top 3 Iron Man runs, 1, 2, and 3. Thank you for reading.
Thank you. Project Viking brings up a good point with Long Halloween. Now, he said the animation comes out in the fall, but I almost had considered reading. It would be cool to do Long Halloween when Robert Pattinson's Batman comes out, because I know it is going to be based on
that.
Yes, that's what they're kind of doing. Similar, it's loosely based on it. So I'd be interested to see what their take is. I know that Christopher Nolan had taken some beats of Long Halloween. It was served as an inspiration along with other things, not just that one for his Batman Begins, but I believe Robert Pattinson's Batman or the Batman is gonna be a little bit more tied to Long Halloween than the other.
Interesting. Okay,
so that might be something to look to do.
Noshka, Valley of the Wind. That's another one.
Yes.
Now that's okay. That's a really good one, just like Akira. And I really want to do those, but that also has the benefit of being written by the guy that wrote and drew the manga. So, really quick story: Akira by Katsuhiro Otomo and Noshka, Valley of the Wind by Hayao Miyazaki, both were written and drawn by the creators, and they took a hiatus to make the movies and then came back years later to wrap up the story. So they had the benefit of, having the vision of the original creator behind them. So it's a little harder to grade those because both are good, but that is a good one. I don't know, man.
Yeah,
I'm leaning more towards manga. Most of these, I'm probably going to say comic. This is a rare case, honestly. This is a rare case where I think most of the time you're going to hear me say comic is better than the movies. Because this is the one that I said the movie was better. Yeah, I think most of the time I'm going to say comic is better. Yeah, but we'll see.
Well, I think Leo also suggesting Umbrella Academy season 1 and 2.
And honestly, I'm going to go ahead and say this. I think for most of Mark Miller's stuff, I enjoyed the movies a little more. Like Kingsman was better than Secret Service.
Right,
Kick-Ass was better than Kick-Ass. Wanted was better than Wanted, even though it had beautiful artwork by J.G. Jones. Yeah.
Yeah.
Road to Perdition, we got that down.
We have Road to Perdition.
Yeah. Runaways Comics versus
we have
I think we're gonna do Jupiter's,
because I would love to do that.
Yeah, I think we're gonna do Jupiter's Legacy next Wednesday. Is that when
next Wednesday, yes.
Or next Friday?
No, next Friday we're actually gonna do our review of Army of the Dead, the Zack Snyder movie that comes out on HBO Max.
When does that come out?
On Friday.
Woo!
So we're gonna watch it and then we're gonna review it that evening. I know it's been out in select theaters just this week, or for a week before, I think starting today until next Friday.
So it's out in movie theaters, huh?
Yes, just for the week.
History of Violence. I think we got that one.
That's another one. History of Violence.
That one's a long read too. So does Road to Perdition. But hey, we do not talk about Berserk 2016 on this show, James. You know that damn well. Do not bring up that horrible series. It doesn't exist. Why not do Jeepers Creepers movie? Was there a comic adaptation of that?
I don't know.
I haven't.
I also have the Old Guard because I know they just came out with the Netflix movie. And The Kitchen is a recent movie that just came out. And then R.I.P.D. I thought that one would be a good one.
What about Spider-Verse versus Spider-Verse comic? Interesting, because both of them are so different. But that's a good one, though. Like, which would we enjoy more?
I was thinking about, like, hey, we've done a lot of Spider-Man movies, just talking about, like, because we had to do, like, on 2 of them for was it really that bad?
2016 Berserk is a myth, and Griffith did nothing wrong. Guys. Oh, Aliens versus Predator. Oh, man. Death of Gwen Stacy versus Amazing Spider-Man 2. Not a bad idea, honestly.
I can't believe we revisit that movie again.
Look, my boy Project Viking knows.
Oh,
she's like,
I want to just to get to watch the movie again. I want to read those comics to have an excuse to watch the movie again. I mean, is there ever you need an excuse to watch Men in Black?
She just loves Will Smith songs.
I really want to see what they're based on. I'm just so curious. So
it's a lot different. I haven't read them in forever. Generation X versus the pilot TV show. That'd be interesting to do. CW Crisis versus. Yeah. Oh, wait a minute though. Cool. I think that's one that you would probably lean more towards the CW than the original.
Even though I still think
you were like, I can't do the show anymore. I
almost quit the show over having to read Crisis. So I don't know.
You're right. Stephen King movies.
Dark Tower. Yeah. Again.
Walking Dead. We could do Walking Dead with the first season.
Yeah, because that's a lot.
That was Frank Darabont.
It was. Yeah, he was still a very major part of that. Yeah.
What's up, Ace? Haven't seen you in one of these in a while. Hope you're doing all right.
Yes, hope you're doing well. But yeah, you guys have a lot of great suggestions. And if you're watching this not live.
Here we go. This Team America Marvel. This Team America movie. No, it's this one here. No, not that one. Where is the Hellboy? This. If you do Hellboy, you can compare the 2 movies if you don't include the sequel.
I kind of want to do that because the Del Toro one. I don't think I ever want to revisit
Neil Marshall's movie.
Is that the one that just came out that we reviewed?
Oh my God. Remember you and I were like, when is this movie over? We were the only ones there.
Or Baba Yaga.
Baba Yaga.
Yeah, I was
like, not Baba Ganoush. What is wrong with you?
I was thinking about Wedding Crashers. But if you haven't watched this live and you're just watching it on a playback, if you have any suggestions, make sure to put them in the comments below so that way we can see them as we're catching up on the comments as well. Because we are putting this on a list. As you can see, I was typing. So, Infinity War the movie better than the comics. That would be a good one.
They're so different, but we're gonna base it on
Gauntlet because it's Infinity Gauntlet, right?
No, we gotta stick to the names.
Yes, that's true.
So, because Spider-Verse has really nothing to do with the Spider-Verse movie, but I like the idea of like which did you enjoy more? Yeah, I like that. That's cool. Baba Yaga versus Baba Ganoush. Snowpiercer, another one. And I forgot about the new series because the movie was solid. I really liked it.
Any chance to get to watch Chris Evans again, I'm good with.
Scott Pilgrim would be interesting.
That's on my list. I do want to read the Scott Pilgrim comic. And this is a great way, guys, to sneak me into getting some more comics read. So this is what Young Justice.
Great. Right there. Tower of Babel versus Justice League Doom animation.
Okay.
Both I really appreciate. Watch the Borat cut. The Borat cut of Borat. You're talking about the part where he's like, what is this? This is cheese. And this is also cheese. And what is this? Cheese. And this cannot be cheese. Dude, that was 7 minutes of him at the grocery store. I loved it. Is that what you're talking about? The Borat cut? Or what are we talking about here? Tank Girl. Tank Girl would be a good one, but I don't know what the movie is based on though. Like
we have to do a little bit of
comic
research,
it's based on.
Just figure it out. But we could add Tank Girl to the list for sure.
So thank you all so much for the wonderful suggestions and for joining us. Dark Phoenix. Oh, that is right, because you didn't like the comic. And because of that, we got cursed into watching 2 shitty movies.
Which one would we do? Last Stand or would we do actual Dark Phoenix?
Dark Phoenix. Dark is the title.
Dark Phoenix. Yeah. Okay. Ugh. I guess I'll watch it again.
You look so happy.
I might actually say the comic on that one, and that's
damn right. The comic is better. Don't you dare!
I still have.
I'll kick yourself out the show if you say the dang movie is better.
I would.
That's a good one right here. RoboCop 2 versus Frank Miller's RoboCop. Because didn't he write the script for RoboCop 2 and 3 though?
I think he. Yeah.
Hellboy had a month-long delay because the producers kept making them redesign the tree at the end. Same producer insisted on Hellboy. Dude, that movie was such a mess. That movie was such a mess. Wanted movie versus Wanted. Yeah, we got that down.
Yeah, we got the Wanted.
We got Man in Look, Ace is on it.
I'm telling you, there's a high demand. I was trying to
get. Okay, there's two people. There's not a high demand. Come on, it's not a high demand.
Wanted and they're letting on. But I want to do it next week, but we don't know if we can find the comics in time, so it might have to be a little bit later. But yeah, that's one.
That's a good one, Dean. God Loves Man Kills versus X-Men 2. You know the answer to that.
Yeah, that's a good comic.
I'm with you, Amanda. Not a Dark Phoenix. Project Viking, you were up here. Now you're down here with me. We were cool.
I just give up on the Dark Phoenix. I don't think I know people want them to probably redo it when they do the MCU, but at this point, I'm like, can we just nix that storyline? There has to be so many storylines X-Men have that we don't need to do Dark Phoenix.
That's a good one too. Sin City versus the Sin City movie, because there were three stories that made the first Sin City movie.
Yes. So yes, we have quite a bit. I keep saying yes because I'm like yes.
Yes.
This is a great.
She keeps saying yes. She's agreeing with everybody. That's what kind of movie.
Ooh, Deadly Class would be a good one too. I forgot. And Lock
Rest
and Key.
in peace, Deadly Class. Oh, that I'm telling you right now what I'm going to say about Lock and Key. That show did not come near the greatness of the comic book. I don't know what the hell they were thinking.
That show, I love that
show was great, and it was written by Remender.
Exactly, and I would be interested to see. I mean, because they're written by the same person. They're written by the author in both accounts, so I would be interested to see what we can think about that.
You know a way you can read comics for a special price of $0. I know not what you mean. Ooh, Preacher would be a short conversation. Yeah, because they totally didn't get it in the TV show. And thank you, Preacher, for reminding me of that. Max for reminding me of that. Doomsday Clock, Volumes versus Watchmen TV series. There were a little bit. There were a lot of differences. I don't even know if one could. I don't know if you could really talk about one.
Yeah, because
they were so different.
Series is so different.
The TV series was its own thing, and it was great. I liked it. Christmas, no. Oh man, coming in late, but it's awesome to see you guys together in person. Can't wait to go back and listen to the video. Thank you for joining us, Ryan.
I hope you enjoy all of our discussion about the Civil Wars.
Now you know the greatest run of all time is Cable and Deadpool versus Deadpool 2, all day, every day.
That'd be nice.
I forgot about Cowboys versus Aliens. That's another one.
Oh my goodness, yes.
Y'all coming up with some good ideas. Seriously.
Yes, some great ideas. Yes, but it looks like we're kind of ending or wrapping up.
Looks like we're kind of ending. Is that what it looks like?
We're getting to the end of our show. We're getting to the end of our show.
All right.
So thank you guys so much for watching. If you have a chance, if you haven't watched this live, go ahead and put your suggestion in the comments. And also, don't forget to tell us if you prefer the book or the comic.
Yeah.
I'd like to know what everyone thinks on Civil War, the comic, and Civil War, the movie. But thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. And remember to follow us on all of our social media channels at nearmintcon. Remember to check us out on Patreon for $1 a month or more. You can get Omar to come to your house and do a show with you.
Wait a minute.
And if you want some great Near Mint Condition merchandise like the shirt that Omar is wearing, you can get it on our spread shop. And last
20% off right now.
Yes.
So act fast.
They added a new women's shirt, but not my cow neck sweater that I want. But it's fine.
I don't even know what a cow neck. Why do you want to want a cow neck?
Cowl, like a cowl, like a Batman's cowl.
Oh, okay. Well, then you get in there and you tell me what you want. We'll add cowl neck sweaters.
So thank you so much for watching. And remember, guys, if it's classy and cool, it must be in your mint. Have a good evening, everyone, and good journey. We'll see you on Wednesday.
Good journey.